UCLA shocked Washington last month in Los Angeles, and the Huskies certainly haven't forgotten. The Bruins played their best game of the season to upset UW, and they know they'll need another near-perfect game to make it a season sweep tonight in the Emerald City. Payback sure can be fun, and these dogs are looking for redemption. The Huskies have all the firepower and heart to beat anyone as they search for their first conference title in 20 years. Get ready for Pac-10 hoops as UCLA takes on number 13 Washington next on FSN.
Seattle, Washington, known for its college football tradition, but building a college basketball history that has the fans thrilled. Today at Bank of America Arena, the Washington Huskies will host the UCLA Bruins. And Washington starts today a half game behind Arizona because the Wildcats beat Stanford earlier today. UCLA with a half game edge on Stanford. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Physiak. This is Marcus Johnson. And yes, the last week, Washington's been talking about revenge against UCLA, their loss at Pauley Pavilion. Washington is small but quick, and they are led by the guy I think is the most underrated player in the conference, Trey Simmons.
Chester Simmons III, a.k.a. Trey. And you know, Steve, he reminds me of Luther Head of Illinois. You got a couple of guys, D. Brown, Darren Williams, a lot more heralded. But Luther Head is leading that team. Trey Simmons leads this team. Does a great job going left, pulling up off the dribble. He rebounds the basketball. He's got deep range. You've got to find him early in transition or he will burn you. Trey Simmons is having himself quite a terrific year.
And for UCLA, there are basketball teams that's won the last two games late game drama. And usually when you win the close games, it's because of the seniors.
Yeah, you know, you need a senior on the floor, especially if you're UCLA. You're going to play 3, sometimes 4 freshmen a lot. And Dijon Thompson has provided that senior leadership. Here is the big shot against Wazoo, Washington State, to tie the game up, send it into overtime. Where's the perimeter D? But he got a clean look. He knocked it down. He takes a lot of pressure off the freshman. UCLA went on to win that basketball game into overtime. He's had a tremendous season. Dijon Thompson's got the bad hand. Look for Bobby Jones to have no slack on him whatsoever. Put pressure on him. Slap at that hand. Slap at that hand. Trying to get him out of his comfort zone. That's cold, well, I know.
Washington has won 19 straight games at Heck Edmondson Arena. The last team to beat them, UCLA, 13 months ago. It's the Bruins and Huskies next on FSN. To Seattle, Washington, and Bank of America Arena for UCLA at 12-6 and Washington at 18-3. We'll check the UCLA starting lineups. We told you all about Thompson, who's averaging more than 17 per game. Ship's a good defender. Fay must get rebounds today. Aflalo will take Trey Simmons, and Jordan Farmar is one of the best freshman point guards in the nation. Their coach is Ben Howland, won 11 games last year in his first year in Westwood. Already has 12 this year with a very young team that starts 3 freshmen. Now for the University of Washington starting 5 that Howland will see. He will go with Bobby Jones, who is the guy who has to defend Dijon Thompson. Simmons, the 3-shooter. Conroy and Robinson are 1 and 2 in assists in the conference this year. And Lorenzo Romar is the coach. He was an assistant at UCLA 4 years under Jim Herrick. They won the NCAA championship in 1995. We welcome you again to Bank of America Arena in Heck Edmondson. It is Seattle, Washington. Steve Physiak, Marcus Johnson with you. Pac-10 basketball on FSN. And Marcus, how about the Dodge game plan?
Well, let's take a look at her, Steve. But UCLA, you cannot be satisfied with that first win Thursday night against Washington State. And you can penetrate the pressure off the dribble of Washington. For Washington, Dijon Thompson, you have got to turn him into some regular old mustard. Don't let him have a big game. And then I think you force UCLA to shoot the long ball. Over the last 6 games, they're shooting 29% from the 3-point stripe. Make them prove that they can knock down the outside jump shot.
And there is Simmons, one of the top 3 shooters in the country. Washington's Bank of America Arena sold out. Romar has brought them a winner. And they are 2 wins shy of 20 victories. There's little Nate Robinson. He's listed at 5'9", 5'7" 3/4. It is officially, but he is a big game player, averaging 16 points per game and 5.2 assists. That is second best in the conference. His teammate Will Conroy is number 1.
And he plays like a big player. You know, 5'7" 3/4, but he gets fueled, and his team and the crowd does, from offensive rebounds, the spectacular type. I'm talking about slam dunks, climbing up the back of the opponent.
Jensen at 6'8" will jump up against the 6'7" Thompson. Ball on the floor, and they will re-jump. Washington off to their best start in 29 years. They are 18-3. Bruins know that they'll go from the grinding, slow-down pace of the Washington State Cougars to the hurry-up Huskies. First team to 90 wins.
And then UCLA players are like, thank God, finally some real basketball. But starts are so important in this game. The Huskies against USC came out lethargic.
Aflalo has the ball knocked out of his hands. It'll still be UCLA basketball. The Bruins in blue, the Huskies in white. And that Husky backcourt of Conroy and Robinson. They go with Jensen, Jones, and Simmons on the front line.
Against the Trojans, the Washington didn't take a lead until 8.5 minutes had elapsed in that game. UCLA has had notoriously poor starts in the first half. Important to get off early.
And assistant coach Donnie Daniels said they wanted to see more of that from the freshman Aflalo, more posting up in the paint.
With his size, his skill level, his ability to score on the box, a good idea for him to get down low and do some work. I think offensive rebounding, UCLA can get some putbacks. Washington sometimes doesn't block out.
Jones was able to get that baseline and ties the game.
When Bobby Jones gives you offense, it's just gravy. You know, he plays such good defense, rebounds, chases down loose balls. Any points he puts on the board are gravy for your basketball team.
Farmar used his hand to clear away the defense. Here's Josh Shipp, left wing, no good. Fay taps the rebound to himself, but he went over the back. And here's a guy 7 feet tall, only averaging 4.5 rebounds per game. They'll need more if they're going to find success against Washington.
Here's Bobby Jones. Nice job just working the baseline. No one weak side for UCLA, steps up to stop his penetration, and that's the strength of his game. If anything, with Bobby Jones, you want to force him to knock down some outside shots.
Simmons, pretty pass. His shot is blocked. Jensen can't convert. And Aflalo is fouled by Nate Robinson, and the crowd goes crazy, and Robinson took it right on the top of his head.
And Nate Robinson, he's got to be careful. He gets a little too aggressive. He brings that football mentality to the basketball floor, but here's a nice job. This is a good sign for UCLA. Michael Fay, active inside, swatting the shot of Mike Jensen. I mean, you like to see that if you're UCLA from Michael Fay, because you just never know what kind of Michael Fay you're going to get from game to game. You talked about his lack of rebounding at his size.
Farmar misses the fade. Simmons rebound, outlet Robinson. Here they go. And a foul will be called. And immediately they get the ball up the glass and they're in the lanes. I said, Donnie Daniels, what is your key? And he said, transition defense, get back, and number 3 is get back.
Well, there's only one guy back, and that's Josh Shipp. That is not what UCLA wants to do. They want 3 guys back at all times. They're going to send Thompson and Fay to the offensive glass. That time, the freshmen, the younger guys, kind of got sucked into the painted area. Washington will burn you. They are so dangerous in transition, especially Nate Robinson. You know, it's like a defensive player's nightmare. Nate Robinson coming at you one-on-one in transition. It's just so tough to stop. At the very least, he's going to get to the free throw line.
He is a junior from Seattle Rainier Beach High School. And he makes the foul shots to put Washington in front by 2.
Rainier Beach High School, the school that's produced Doug Christie, Jamal Crawford of the New York Knicks, Roderick and Logic Stewart, C.J. Giles of Kansas, a lot of tremendous ball players from that program.
Aflalo again backing his way in on Conroy.
That's the matchup Coach Holland is trying to exploit here early. I think Aaron needs to try and get him a higher quality shot down in that post. That was a 16-foot fadeaway jump shot.
A foul on Jordan Farmar. Robinson realized he had the edge on his shoulder, so it just took him straight to the hoop, and all the freshman could do was foul him. And remember, UCLA's not very deep at that point guard spot with the season-long injury to Cedric Bozeman.
And Janelle Rubin also out with an injury. He was providing minimal minutes, you know, maybe 5 to 10 a game, but when you're playing 36 a game like Jordan Farmar has done, then that 5 or 6 minute rest becomes so important to you.
Robinson gets a good look. Misses the shot. Fay again can't control the basketball. Tried to tip it to himself and tipped it out of bounds.
Well, see, this is one thing that I try and preach to young kids about keeping your hands up, going for rebounds. Have your hands already up. That time the ball came off quickly. His hands were down. By the time he raised them, he couldn't control the ball. He loses it out of bounds.
I remember those old UCLA Bruin games watching the 1970s when John Wooden had everybody, all 5 with their hands in the air.
Elbows high, baby. But that way you are prepared for that quick bounce off the rim. Good defense, Nate Robinson. Nice pass, even better pass by Jordan Farmar. And that's how you relieve some of that pressure. Washington loves to overplay the passing lanes. Again, I think you can attack it off the dribble, but you also have to be smart moving without the basketball. Aflalo gets the back pick from Dejon Thompson, and Jordan Farmar delivers. There's going to be a back screen right there. It's going to free up Aflalo, and you can get that a lot. I mean, as Washington, they are susceptible to pressure releases once they overplay the wings.
Aflalo misses the first foul shot. He is a 67% foul shooter this year. From Compton Centennial High School, played for a terrific high school basketball coach in Rod Palmer. Fay will sit down, and Lorenzo Mata will come in over Collins, who had a very good game against Washington State, 8 points and 8 rebounds in the Bruin victory just 2 nights ago.
Another interesting matchup, Dejon Thompson guarding Mike Jensen because of Jensen's ability to hit outside shots. The bigger player, Mata, on Bobby Jones, is more of a workhorse inside.
Simmons scores and Washington goes up 3. Thompson has not had too many looks. Here he flips it, and Aflalo loses it off his hand, out of bounds.
And that's some of the ball handling issues I think Dejon Thompson has had problems with because of the injured right hand. Suffered actually in practice back in October. He re-injured that hand at their Arrowhead Pond against Boston College in December. And it's squeezing the ball. He told me before the game he still cannot palm the basketball comfortably, and that knuckle is swollen up 3-4 times its normal size.
Robinson inside at 5 feet 8 inches tall and finds home.
And that's the strength of this Husky game. They love to slash, to attack the basket. You've got to keep them out of the paint, force them into some outside shots.
And they are one of the streakiest teams in college basketball. USC was within 4 at 31-27 on Thursday, and then all of a sudden they took off like a 16-2 run. Before long, it was a 41-point Husky lead over the Trojans. And they won by 30. Robinson's 3 misses. Farmar way ahead. There's the great defensive back from the Husky football team just 2 years ago.
Great footwork by the defensive back. But here's Nate Robinson right here. Going to pass the ball to Brandon Roy. Just cut down the middle of the lane. And where's the interior defense? It's just too big of a lane for even a small guy like Nate Robinson at 5'8" to exploit. Get in there tight, get that weak side eye happening, and not let anybody get to the rim that easily.
Aflalo and Farmer backcourt. Thompson, Ship, and Mata.
I really like Dejon Thompson trying to break his guy down that far away from the basket.
4 freshmen and 1 senior. Aflalo in and out with the 3.
And Dejon made a nice pass, but he's usually more effective on the wings, isolated, coming off the double screens for the quick catch and shoot.
Ship and Mata tied up Jamal Williams in a hell ball situation. Huskies will have it when we come back. Huskies by 5 over UCLA. This week, ACC Sunday Night Hoops returns when second-ranked North Carolina tries to stay atop the conference standings as they take on upset-minded Florida State. Coverage begins with our tip-off show at 1:30 Eastern, 10:30 Pacific, right here on FSN. And the Harley-Davidson top 10. Illinois plays Indiana tomorrow. North Carolina, we told you, Florida State. But Kansas, Duke, Kentucky, and Wake Forest all victorious earlier today. Meantime, we've got the 2 top scoring teams in the nation on FSN today and tomorrow. Washington number 2 in the nation in scoring at 88 points per game, and North Carolina 92.5 points per game. So we got some hot offenses on FSN.
Had a chance to fly back from Orlando on Wednesday and watch the Duke-Wake Forest game, and just terrific basketball being played by the toughest conference in the country, the ACC, the Pac-10 number 2 in terms of RPI. But Jamal Williams, he does a great job on the box. He's so tough to defend when he's isolated.
Williams made 9 of his 10 shots in their victory over USC in just 16 minutes.
Yeah, and
21 points.
13 of those points came in the first half, and Washington was having some trouble, kind of struggling scoring the basketball, and he's just instant offense. UCLA having trouble with themselves, missing 6 of their first 7 field goal attempts in this game.
Thompson misses his first shot of the game. And right now UCLA 1 for 8 from the floor to open this contest. Jones is fouled. Bruins have played 5 minutes 15 seconds and made only 1 field goal.
You know, Dijon Thompson missed the baseline jumper. Bobby Jones played great defense. He said he was going to try and just make tough shots. That's all you could do against a good offensive player. But then Dijon didn't hustle back on defense, didn't pick up Bobby Jones, allowed Bobby Jones to get behind him, get the basketball, get to the free throw line. If it doesn't matter if you're making shots or missing shots, you've always got to give that consistent defensive effort, especially in transition against these guys. They will run you off the floor, Steve. Stephen,
well, here's
they'll run you off the
guy
floor.
Who can run you off the floor? Joel Smith replacing Trey Simmons. I mean, they're deep. They can go 10-11.
Yeah, I love this team, and they got the ultimate compliment from Dick Bennett of Washington State, saying that they remind him of the '89 Fighting Illini of Illinois when they had Kendall Gill and guys like that, Marcus Liberty, Ken Norman, just athletes who are terrific basketball players. Now the Huskies picking up a little full court pressure, going to try and wear down Jordan Farmar.
Played a lot of minutes in the overtime victory over Washington State on Thursday. Here's Ship baseline, and Fay can't hold it. Passes a little low for the 7-footer.
And that wasn't Fay's fault. He gets knocks it by not catching the basketball.
There's Brandon Roy. He's great going right or left, and Ben Howland wants a timeout as Washington has opened up an 8-point lead on UCLA.
And this is one of the concerns of the UCLA coaching staff, not matching the intensity, but this is a big concern also, interior defense. The Huskies too easy getting into the paint, getting very, very good looks, point-blank looks at the basket.
Well, how about our Pac-10 Player of the Week, Thomas Pilati, and the job he did at Arizona, shocking the Wildcats last Saturday after they had beaten these Huskies on Thursday night.
Nice job there. Knocking down jumpers, hit the big shot against UCLA late in that game to put his team up, and kind of reminds me of like a poor man's Rip Hamilton. He's a marathon runner, so he's in great shape, but he's got that movement without the basketball and can do a great job knocking down the deep ball also.
He is our U.S. Bank Pac-10 Player of the Week, snapped the Cougars' 38-game losing streak against Arizona. UCLA basketball, full court pressure shown by Robinson and the Huskies.
They get Farmar off the basketball, give him a little bit of a break, let Aflalo advance the basketball against the freshman Joel Smith. That's how you rest your point guard. You know, you relieve him of those duties of always having to go against terrific defensive pressure.
Thompson strong to the hoop, and that snaps a streak of 6 straight shots missed by UCLA.
And Dijon matched up against Jamal Williams as opposed to Bobby Jones. He's got to take it to the basket more.
Great block by Aflalo. Thompson. Ship. No, I believe he walked prior to.
And Josh Ship looking for a foul call, but I thought he was a lot more concerned about the contact inside. He kind of glanced at his defender from the side. Looked like he slipped as he made his approach. Kind of slipped right there, but you know, just got to take that up strong. Don't worry about it getting it blocked. Use your body as a shield. It's a little bit too much hesitation by Josh that time.
Bruins with 3 turnovers. Our officials today are Mark Reisling, Rick Batesel, and Brian Sorensen. Roy tied up by Farmar. Well, their interior passing has been very good to start this game.
And that's the key. You let them get into the interior. Now you have to make the adjustment defensively, and you leave open shooters 5 feet from the basket. Nice job, Michael Fay, up and in, no hesitation.
The foul goes against Hakeem Rollins as UCLA trying to stay close.
I mean, Hakeem Rollins listed about 6'8", Michael Fay, 7-footer inside, so that's the kind of size advantage he has. That's a great job passing over the top. And then watch it, baseline right there, baseline penetration, baseline jump shot is going to be open. Jamal Williams has that kind of limited range, but does most of his damage in the post. If they could get something out of Michael Fay, UCLA, it would really help their cause, especially once Mike Jensen is out of the lineup, because they get even smaller with Hakeem Rollins on the floor.
Fay finishes the three-point play. Williams defended by Fay. Will Conroy misses the shot. Rebound Michael Fay, and he pushes it ahead to Farmar. This is Farmar's open court style. Oh, what a block!
Good call.
Count the basket.
It was a spectacular, very aesthetically pleasing block by Brandon Roy. But I thought he took the ball off the rim, right there, the ball over the cylinder, and he catches it from behind and slams it against the glass. But you know, his hand is all up in the cup. I think no doubt about that. That was a good call, goaltending against Brandon Roy. But that's the kind of athleticism this young man possesses. Just a tremendously gifted player.
5 straight points by UCLA. And UCLA looks like they're more comfortable against the man defense. We've seen them against the zone struggle against Oregon and certainly against California a couple of weeks ago. Joel Smith fires the three.
UCLA starting to tighten up the interior defense, but you know, Joel Smith out of Lompoc, California, he always makes something positive happens every time he steps on the floor. Just a freshman.
Jensen defending Thompson. Knocked away.
Get it
by
out of here.
Rollins.
Hakeem Rollins played tremendous basketball last year. And right here, Dijon, nice job on the penetration, but Rollins, great weak side help. Here's Joel Smith right here. He's going to just drift up into the open area out of penetration by Brandon Roy. Get the feet set, ball in the air. He's in the air, and the lefty knocks it down from long range. And that's what he gives him nice minutes, usually in the middle of the first half, and he's always good to come in and knock down a jump shot or two, make a couple of nice passes, hustle, get a loose ball.
Dijon Thompson, what a play. He just took him on. They cleared out for him and fires outside, and again the Bruins within 4.
And that's the product of all the individual workout that Dijon Thompson has put in this summer. The Bruins did a nice job on Trey Simmons. He's been real quiet.
And that is the first turnover on Washington in this game.
This is how you break your man down in a compartment. Little jab step, little step back, little yakka.
Washington by 4 over UCLA. This year, expect the unexpected as Fox Sports brings the Super Bowl party to your house. Our guys will be in Jacksonville giving you everything you'll need to make your Super Bowl Sunday perfect, with in-depth interviews and analysis, plus performances by Kelly Clarkson, the Black Eyed Peas, and more. Guys like Dylan and Kurtz are going to play as well. It's the next best thing to being at the game. The Fox NFL Sunday Super Bowl 39 pregame show begins tomorrow at 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific, in high definition only on Fox. Corey Dillon will be the star running back in that game. He was the pride of the Huskies. Had a 1,000-yard season for Washington a few years ago.
And another Seattle guy, Brian Morrison, on the floor down in L.A. had 19 points all in the second half during that Bruin comeback. Nice play by Morrison to find Josh Shipp, the weak side of the basketball.
And UCLA has cut the Washington lead to 2. Remember, the Bruins were down by 21 in the first half at Pauley and came back and won the game.
And that was a big key for UCLA in this game. Stay close, stay within striking distance in the first half. And they've done that.
Flalo has a chance to tie it or take the lead with a 3. Morrison to Finney, who ties it up at 16.
And Morrison doing his Jason Williams white chocolate impersonation, not looking to shoot the ball, looking to penetrate and make some nice passes inside. Just beautiful interior passes by Brian Morrison. Here to go on baseline. Going to find the baseline teammate Josh Shipp wide open, and then off the spin move, gets down the middle, a little bit of a chicken wing hook, doesn't get called, but does a nice job dropping it off to Mike Fay.
Who does he think he is, Woody Harrelson?
That's, and with Brian Morrison, when he comes in and he has the emphasis on being a playmaker as opposed to trying to shoot the deep ball, it's going to help UCLA.
Well, he's from Redmond, Washington. to Lake Washington High School. You see the game that Mark has talked about on January 8th, 19, all of them in the second half. Dejon Thompson had 19 of his 29 in the second half.
In that first game, Morrison, it was bombs away from the outside. But now he's did a nice job establishing the penetration aspect of his game. Maybe that gets him some open looks if Will Conroy, his defender, respects that ability of his to penetrate and create open shots for his teammates.
UCLA showing a better defense to Washington than certainly USC did the other day. Huskies had so many easy baskets, 32 assists in the game, and right now they have only 3.
Tough matchup for Josh Shipp inside. I mean, Brandon Roy is so crafty with the basketball. Just missed a very easy shot inside, but you know, if I were Lorenzo Romar, I'd go right back to that offensively when I got an opportunity. Roy versus Shipp matchup.
A Flower looking to the sideline. Donnie Daniels opening up a sign that says opposite 4.
And the style of play of UCLA is really taking this crowd out of the game. They're trying to get self-ignited now, get a jump start going to fire up their team. Give it up.
Thompson against Jones, and they've got a foul, a blocking foul out on the wing against Bobby Jones, one of the best defenders in the game. He had such a tough time at Pauley Pavilion against Thompson.
Yes, he did indeed, and then he scored just for 2 points himself. But right there, Dejon Thompson, a little bit too much ball handling. You see Lorenzo Romar in his career, and that one win in the Pac-10 tournament last year.
And Thompson gives the Bruins a lead. At one time, they were down by 6.
Just great execution on their inbound play underneath.
Brandon Roy misses the 3. And I think Roy traveled. Yes, he did. Back-to-back turnovers against the Huskies.
And this is not the pace, the tempo that Washington wants to play. They want to go breakneck speed, go up and down the floor, get a lot of shots up. They've been over 100 3 times so far this season, 99 the other night against USC. And the UCLA's deliberate style of basketball is not allowing for that. You can see the frustration kind of mounting with Washington.
And the Huskies so used to quick starts. They're outscoring their opposition in the first half by 241 points. Turnover by the Bruins.
Yeah, Jordan Farmar a little too close to the sideline, steps on the sideline, but under extreme defensive duress.
UCLA in the man defense.
Dejon Thompson defending Mike Jensen. Ryan Hollins against the smaller player, the forward, Bobby Jones.
Nate Robinson. Roy misses. It's knocked out deep to Conroy.
Fans wanted to foul on that play, but Brandon Roy initiated the contact. There's Jensen. There's that long ball. Huskies need a boost. Jensen gives it to him. Here comes Nate Robinson watching.
And Morrison throws it off a Husky out of bounds. It'll be UCLA basketball at the 9-minute mark of the first half.
Here's Mike Jensen. Watch him. He's going to get open. Dejon Thompson is responsible for defending him. Nate Robinson, not much of a screen. Dejon has got to do a better job. You know, if you can't fight through a screen from Nate Robinson, you're in trouble. You got to do a better job getting out on defense on Mike Jensen. He's too good of a shooter. Now the Huskies starting to get juiced up a little bit out here offensively. This is a team that goes on tremendous runs.
Well, they're getting some good looks. They just have not been able to finish, and the Huskies' lead is just 1. Bruins could take it back right here.
Robinson doing a great job on Jordan Farmar. And, you know, Nate Robinson is so quick at 5'7", does a great job with his on-the-ball defense. And Jordan Farmar just cannot get around him, cannot beat him off penetration. One thing you can do against Nate Robinson if you're Jordan Farmar is take him hard to a spot, jump over him, and look for your shot.
2 of those turnovers by UCLA by Farmar in their last 3 possessions. Washington has outscored UCLA 9-0 on points off turnovers. And once again, transition defense will decide who wins and who loses this game.
And so far, UCLA has done a pretty good job. They've beaten a couple of times early, easy baskets in transition, but for the most part, they've stuck to the game plan, send 2 guys to the offensive glass, 3 guys back protecting on defense.
floater wouldn't go. Bobby Jones fighting for it, has it ripped away by Aflalo. And the steal by Robinson.
Nice. A little off balance, lean back jumper. That'll wake up the latte sipping crowd up here in Seattle. The mochaccino.
I'll have a little more sugar in mine, thank you.
Get them sparked up a little bit. There's that take them to a spot, jump over jump shot, but you could even get a little closer if you're Parmar. But here come the Huskies.
Tipped in by Brandon Roy.
Well, you can see Lorenzo Romar has said, no more settling for long jump shots. Let's put it on the floor, dribble, drive, get to the paint, and make things happen.
Led by Nate the Great Robinson, his steal and score, and Washington's up 5.
Great defense right there to come up with the steal. Then watch the little lead back, find the glass angle. He's so good at making those difficult pirouettes inside. And then once the penetration happens, Michael Fay has to rotate, leaves no one to block out Brandon Roy.
And the Huskies on a 7-0 run. UCLA coaches feel that there's no team, even Arizona, that has more streaks in them like these Washington Huskies, averaging almost 9 steals per game this year, second in the Pac-10 to the Trojans at 9. But they humbled the Trojans on Thursday, not only with the steals, but 32 assists, the most ever against the Trojan basketball team.
Yeah, went on a 12-0 run, and some of the Trojans, Ladrick Stewart in particular, felt that his team basically just quit in that second half when they got down. But the pressure of Washington, the tenacity of their defense will make you throw up the white flag if you don't have nerves of steel.
Thompson gets it to Ship, and that's a big-time play. Count it, and a chance for 3.
Nice job, Dijon, and then even a better job with the great hands by Josh Ship. For UCLA, Dijon Thompson's done a nice job when it's not going outside. Find the driving lane. Mike Jensen, it's going outside, Yaka. And then Nate Robinson, the degree of difficulty. Look at the angle. Going to be huge if Washington is to win this game.
Those guys are a big reason Huskies have a school record 13 consecutive Pac-10 home victories. They play just remarkable basketball. They have a 19-game home winning streak. I mean, heck, Edmondson Arena is close to the floor, a lot of noise. Longest streak since 52-53 when they won 23 in a row, so they're just 4 shy of that. Last loss, you see it, 13 months ago in overtime to these Bruins.
So those two guys had a lot to do with this home court winning streak. Home fans, it's so important to establish a home court advantage, and Lorenzo Romar, with the style of play and the type of players that he has, they've done that. You need those goofballs painting their faces up, putting on the crazy. I like that. That's what college basketball is all about.
And they're the only team unbeaten at home this year. Arizona was unbeaten before losing last week against Washington State at McKell Center, but they came back and won a big one today by 18 points over the Stanford Cardinals. Great defense displayed by the Wildcats in that game. Bobby Jones, left baseline, scores.
Bobby Jones, that's not the strength of his game. He does a nice job. That's just straight two-man basketball out of some zipper action between Bobby Jones and Nate Robinson, and then just letting two guys have the left side of the floor, draw and kick, work off each other, screen and pop, screen and roll.
UCLA's got a matchup advantage with the 6-foot Conroy defending Dijon Thompson at 6'7".
And Nate Robinson trying to defend Josh Ship inside. Not so much for any ISOs, but Ship keep him down in the box and try and jump over him. Now they switch.
Shot clock's down to 5. Ship. Oh, that's a heck of a play by the freshman going baseline. He recognized where the shot clock was and what he had to do.
And recognized who he had on him, a big guy, Mike Jensen. So you've got an advantage that far out on the floor.
Nate Robinson.
Playing Brian Morrison like a bowling ball. Just kind of bounced him off, created some space, hit the little baseline jumper.
8 for Robinson. Tried to pick and roll, but it was denied. Good defense by Bobby Jones to recognize. But Thompson, after Jones floated over, he had to get back to cover Thompson, and he was a little off balance covering the senior. Conway, that's not a charge.
Wow, a lot of contact. That was a lot of contact. Charge, block something, blow the whistle.
Thompson, no. Rebound, Mata. Was he on the baseline? Yes. And it's a turnover to the Huskies.
And I think Lorenzo Mata tipped it off when he looked down at his feet. If he'd have just kind of got rid of it quickly, he might have gotten away with it. The official's like, "What you looking at, Lorenzo? Oh, you're out of bounds."
It's like looking back at the umpire when you're stealing second base.
Exactly.
Am I out or safe? You're out now, brother.
Jones is hitting one from that spot. Chalk it up.
Make it two. He only hit one three-pointer all last year, and he already has 12 this season.
And he's got this hitch in his jumper where he brings the ball down to his knees before it's released. But hey, it's working for him on those last two three-point shots.
Huskies off on one of their traditional runs. Here's Brian Morrison way out high. Mata tries to save it. Instead, it's Nate Robinson, and here they come. A foul will be called. Wow, Robinson scores. This guy's amazing.
He's just a bundle of energy.
He is.
You know. But right here, Bobby Jones going to bring it down and then jack it up and knock it down. That's the second three-pointer for Bobby Jones. Again, that's not his forte. You kind of want to make him prove he can knock it down. But if he hits about 2, 3, 4, 5 of those, he's kind of proven that he can knock it down. And then Brian Morrison at the other end. The Huskies making this kind of a run, and they're playing well, and they're playing with a lot of energy. You don't want to take that quick early three-pointer. You just don't want to do it. It plays right into the Huskies' hands.
Huskies have made their last 5 shots. Ship leaves the lineup. Ryan Hollins back in as UCLA gets a little bigger.
Huskies trying to penetrate. They feel like they can get into the paint and make things happen. If you step up and help out, they're doing a good job with their interior passes.
Robinson's 3 misses, but there's Jones again. And Bobby Jones will wind up on the free throw line because of his aggressive work on the offensive glass.
See, this is where you got to put on the hard hat and do a better job boxing out. And Bobby Jones, no one puts a body on him. That was Dijon Thompson's responsibility, and he just did not block him out. Just plain and simple. Jones was able to go over the top toward the middle, watch the flight of the basketball, get a good jump on it. Got to put a body on these guys if you're a defender. The defensive possession is not over until you get the defensive rebound.
Well, they pounded Arizona in a loss a week and a half ago on the offensive glass, and they are averaging 15 offensive boards per game. They lead the Pac-10 despite having only one player at 6 feet 8 inches tall. That's Jensen. Everybody else is right around a 6'5", 6'6", or smaller.
Yeah, and it's not like they got, like you said, the big beast, the big glass eater. I mean, Jones leads the team 5.8 rebounds. Trey Sermon's second at 5.5. So they do it by committee. It's a bunch of good athletes.
Hollins loses the basketball out of bounds. And the Huskies up by 10 at the 4-minute mark. They led by 10 at Pauley, and UCLA came from behind to win.
From watching UCLA as we have, you can never count them out, but right here, some stretch for them, a key stretch for them to try and just stay in contact.
It could be much worse had Washington been able to put away some of these easy layups.
They missed a lot of shots on the interior. Now, Aflalo going to initiate the offense, and Dijon Thompson is usually the guy who can be counted upon to at least get a good look at the basket in this kind of a situation. It's way too much dribbling. That's about 12 dribbles by Aflalo on that possession.
Hollins inside, lays it up and in.
Hollins told me before the game he's going to stop going to the counter moves. He's just going to go up and over. He realizes with his size, his length, his athleticism, he doesn't need to try a bunch of cute little up and unders and pump fakes.
Blocked by Hollins, but right into the hands of Williams, who misses the shot from 2 feet away.
Another miss in the paint. Brian Morrison putting that head down, not having vision of anything. Turnover waiting to happen.
It's the Huskies off on one of their blitzes, up by 8 on UCLA. Washington, the number 13 team in the nation, leading UCLA by 8 on Thursday. Pac-10 Hoops goes to Eugene, Oregon, as we'll be following these Washington Huskies as they take on the Oregon Ducks. Coverage begins at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, only on FSN. Oregon's lost 4 straight, trying to rebound against Oregon State tonight. There's your look at your Harley-Davidson Pac-10 standings. Arizona in first place. They really slammed Stanford today in a complete game where the Wildcats looked as good as any team in the nation.
Well, you know, with them, whenever Chris Rogers, and he had like 13, 15 points today, but when he can come in and play like he played today, it just makes them even more dangerous. Salim Stoudemire still playing at a high level. And then Channing Frye played tough. It's like when he's heard the word out on him is that he's not tough, kind of soft. He played tough today.
Well, there's that score from Tucson, Arizona. Stoudemire had 26 and 20 in the second half, where he was like on fire. I know people talk about the great shooters in the nation. We haven't seen many who are as sharp as Salim Stoudemire. J.J. Redick, he helped Duke beat Georgia Tech today.
He's a great shooter, and you know, think of J.J. Redick. Chris Paul actually leads the ACC in three-point field goal percentage. As great a shooter as Redick is. Here's Morrison.
Somebody left that baseline open, and Morrison dunks it home and cuts the lead to 6.
And just a breakdown defensively by Washington, but you know, Morrison is the kind of energy, emotional player that a play like this might help him with his outside stroke. Nice job.
Williams offensive foul.
Nice play by Ryan Hollins. I don't necessarily agree with the call. I thought there was some movement as he slides over to cover the baseline. But a good job giving up the body right there. You know, he did have a large part of his body in front of Jamal Williams. You can still be moving if you are in good defensive position.
Well, they've really taken the 2 starts out of the game that were so instrumental in the victory over USC. Simmons, we're told, averaging 17 per game, only has 2 points and 1 of 3 shooting from the floor. Thompson will miss the 3. The other is Jamal Williams, who picked up his second foul now out of the game. He only has 2 points. And there's Conroy. Again, an easy look, bad result. Oh, the senior's always in the right spot. Help, help. Here I am. Up on the wing.
Pressure releasers, the stabilizers. Just chill out, give me the basketball.
Morrison to Hollins.
You got to find a way to get Trey Simmons off in this game. He's open now. If they want to kick that back at it.
Jones gets it on the offensive glass, and now Washington back in front by 8, 36-28. Farmar, a Flalo backcourt. Morrison with Hollins and Thompson in the front line, and DeJohn takes it off the glass beautifully.
That's a tough post-up play by DeJohn Thompson. It gets a very good post-up defender. Here he is. Chester Simmons, Trey, gets his first really good look at the basket from long range. Here's the offensive glass. Once again, you talked about this team just relentless on the backboard. That time, Bobby Jones, a quick second bounce off the floor.
Simmons again misses the 3, but Brandon Roy right there.
But that's okay. I mean, you want him to be aggressive because you know he's too good of a shooter to continue to shoot that poorly from the outside, and if he does, it's just one of those days.
Jones misses. Morrison has it stripped, but from behind, I believe it was Simmons with the personal foul, or Mike Jensen.
That's a break for the Huskies because Morrison actually tried to outlet that pass before he secured the rebound and threw it to, I think, Brandon Roy underneath, but because of the foul is the reason why that pass was a little bit off.
First foul on Jensen. Coming up at the half, we will, of course, take a look at the first half highlights of this contest and our Pac-10 Hall of Honor. We'll take a look back at the great Jack Nichols and a look back at the Bruins' '95 NCAA championship.
Jack Nichols.
Lorenzo Romar was an assistant coach on that team.
Yes, he was. Jack Nichols loved him in The Shining. Here's Johnny. Lorenzo Romar, an outstanding coach. Cameron Dollar, member of that '95 team, so instrumental in that championship game against Arkansas when Ty said he couldn't go. It's Cameron Dollar.
leading the charges. Now, who's going to lead the charges last 30 seconds for the Huskies here?
And Jim Herrick said back then, he said Cameron Dollar is going to make a wonderful head coach someday, and here he is, a top assistant with Washington. Farmer out on Conroy.
And a power offense, 2 postmen setting picks on each side of the basket, but you want to make sure and get the absolute last shot of this half.
Roy spinning it up. It will not go. And Hollins has it, and the clock will run out, but UCLA has to feel good about their first half. They were down by as many as 10 points, fought back to cut it to 4 at the break. It's 36-32, number 13 Washington over Dijon Thompson and UCLA.
The dribble move again, just individual stuff. You know, you got your man in a little bit of a compartment, 1 dribble left, up and over. The Huskies, they need this guy, Chester Trey Simmons.
Only his second field goal of the game. He has 4 points now. He had 29 against USC. But how important is Thompson? In their last 4 games, UCLA has won 2, they've lost 2. In the losses, he's only scored 6 in each of the losses to Cal and Stanford. In the 2 wins, 24 in each game. Chip inside. Tough.
Must be something about this basket at this end of the floor. The Huskies missed a lot of easy layups, about 14 or 15 of those. But at least 10 that were open. They should have absolutely made.
And 4 straight by the Huskies to go up 6. Will Conroy leading the way. He's the senior.
Now you've got to execute some good half-court offenses. Jordan Farmar matched up against Bobby Jones. That means there's a small guy on a big somewhere on the floor.
Josh Shipp hits the 3, and it's a 3-point game at the 18-minute mark of the game.
Transition. Josh Shipp knocks down the jumper, goes into his home run trot. He's looking toward the middle of the floor. Will Conroy streaking on his outside shoulder, coming down the right side. You got to have vision, find out who's open, get to him quickly.
Assistant Donnie Daniels said the 3 keys: get back, and get back.
Conroy against, nice steal.
Farmer tries to steal it back. A great save inside to Robinson for a Husky 2.
UCLA 9 turnovers at halftime. You know, that's going to be another big key for them, their ability or lack thereof to take care of the basketball. Farmar just a little too relaxed with the basketball, and give Trey Simmons a lot of credit. It's just quick hands, pokes it out. And then the foul and the potential and one. You don't want to get this guy going, Nate Robinson. He feeds off of this kind of stuff.
Mr. Energy, averaging 16 points per game, had a brilliant December. Matter of fact, for the first 6 weeks of the season, he may have been one of the leading candidates for Player of the Year, but a little quiet in conference play when you compare his numbers non-conference to conference.
Yeah, last 6 games just scoring about 14 points a game, and a lot of that, I think, is just his outside shot has not been there. He was knocking it down, shooting in the mid-50s from the 3-point line, and has struggled with the long ball lately. They had a good game a couple of games ago against Arizona State.
Looks like the Huskies tightening up their defense.
And again, going to make this young team have to respond to the intensity.
Farmer almost throws it away again, gets it back, and a nice save by Aflalo. And Jordan Farmer with his second field goal of the game. He has just 4 points.
So a Husky team that's fueled by their offense. They didn't finish out the defensive possession. Those guys are already filling the lanes in transition before the play was complete.
Foul on Josh Shipp.
I mean, well, watch the Huskies right there. You know, Jensen, where you going? Where you going? The play's not over with. Get yourself in the paint and protect the basket. They're kind of leaking out, trying to fill lanes to run and get some dunks and to get the crowd all into it. Finish off the play defensively.
Trey Simmons, an outstanding foul shooter, better than 80% this year. But Simmons, Jabal Williams had brilliant games in the win over USC, but UCLA knew that, and they have extended out defensively. 3 for 10 for Simmons and Williams, and just 7 points tonight, but a long way to go. 16:43 left.
And they have extended on Trey Simmons, done a nice job on him. But Jamal Williams, he's missed 3 of his 4 shots, and he's one of those guys that had some point-blank looks in the paint, and those are shots he normally knocks down, and his coach Lorenzo Romar expects him to hit.
Robinson again all over Farmar.
He gets those same looks in the second half. Chances are he's going to convert.
Farmar missing. Jensen rebounding. Here they go.
Huskies in transition. You must be Husky. Getting out, filling the lanes. This is what fuels this basketball team. Gets their hearts all pumped up inside. And, you know, if you're Michael Fay, you don't mind that foul, but do not let him score the baskets. You got to wrap him up, grab that arm a little bit more sternly, playing more physical inside. Don't give him the three-point play. You're already in a bad way. You've left your feet. You're out of position.
Simmons gets his own rebound and misses the shot, and a foul against the Huskies as Washington has gone back in front by 10 points. That ties their biggest lead of the game.
That was Hakeem Rollins over the back, but UCLA had better do it. They gave up the 12 offensive rebounds, but were still able to outscore the Huskies in the paint 24-14, because the Huskies, quite honestly, just missed a lot of open shots they should have knocked down. So the point being, UCLA kind of fortunate to be down just 10.
Florida looking for some kind of opening, and there's a 5-second violation against the Bruins. They turned the ball over 4 times already in the second half. Will Conroy, a senior leader, throwing it down. Huskies by 10 over the Bruins. Washington led by 4 at the break. They're up by 10 with 15:58 left in the game.
Huskies out in transition right here. Will Conroy off the dribble move. The Bruins defense leaving a lot to be desired. Another off the dribble spin move. Trey Simmons, and then Will Conroy does a nice job inside as he finds a wide open Bobby Jones. But the Bruins have got to do a better job on the ball defense, exert more energy defensively.
Well, you might remember Washington led by 14 with 14:25 left in their game at Pauley Pavilion, and then UCLA put on a 21-7 run. Here are the 4 wins after double-digit deficits. The most down 21 against the Huskies at Pauley. They were down 18 at half against USC just 1 week ago and came back and won that game.
To see Jordan Farmar needing rest at this point, having to come back from those kinds of deficits takes a lot out of you mentally as well as physically. You spend so much energy, and it catches up with you, especially if you're a younger player. The emotional aspect.
It's out of bounds, and it's UCLA basketball. Crowd does not agree. Romar thought it went off a Bruin.
Andrew Romar, now he got himself a technical foul against Arizona State, and he is animated on the sideline here. But after that technical, his team went on an 11-0 run, and it seemed to spur them on, pump them up. They enjoyed seeing their normally subdued, laid-back coach get into it.
Thompson was being held by Bobby Jones, who's really done a terrific job both defensively and offensively. He's had to take the best offensive player in Thompson. And on offense, well, Mr. Jones having a heck of a game with 14 points and 6 rebounds.
He is having himself a tremendous game. I talked about his offense being gravy, but well-needed, good taste in gravy for the Huskies in this game because of the struggles of Trey Simmons and Jamal Williams in the first half.
Aflalo cuts the lead to 8.
And they beat the pressure with penetration. When he got the 5-second count, he was going just east to west. That time north to south, attacking for Aflalo.
A held ball will give the ball to the Bruins with 15 minutes left.
And Romar, he's going through the histrionics on the sideline, flailing the arms. Wouldn't be surprised to see him get some more attention from the officials. Maybe not the technical foul, but I guess they thought that Josh Shipp was over the back of Nate Robinson, but when you're 5'7", you have such a small back, such a low back. It's easy to go over the top of a guy and tie him up.
Hakeem Rollins backing his way in, and the ball is stripped
Not a good play by Brian Morrison. And I don't even know if the foul was on Bryanson. It was, but you just don't. Hakeem Rollins, he's not going to just continually burn you down in the right low post area where he got the basketball. Just allow his defensive player to play him honest. You don't need to bail him out with the foul and send him to the free throw line.
Washington, a very fine free throw shooting team, third in the conference at 73%, but Rollins not one of their best, under 70% this year.
And the thing about this game, UCLA has not played well at all here in the second half. You look up at the scoreboard, though, they're only down 8 points, and you talked about their ability to come back in games like this. And then with the Huskies, they've lost the last 7 out of 8 games against UCLA. So you have to be concerned if you're Lorenzo Romar about their mental state. Oh, here we go again. Here they come.
Looks like Flalo has a cut on his right arm, so the trainers will tend to that. Jordan Farmar comes back in to run the point. Morrison goes to the off guard, and Shipp, Thompson, and Mata are now in the front line for the Bruins. Rollins misses the foul shot. UCLA has it down 8, 14:45 left.
Again, Nate Robinson hounding Jordan Farmar out top. They get the switch they want. You got Dijon against Nate Robinson inside. You need to recognize and do something about it. Dijon recognized, but too aggressively trying to establish position. He pushes off with that offhand.
Well, they were fighting down low as soon as Thompson recognized that Robinson was on him. There was a lot of pushing and shoving going on, and that's Thompson's third personal foul of the game.
You saw Dijon Thompson talking to his point guard Jordan Farmar against Washington State Thursday night. He demanded the basketball. Farmar said he was in his ear. Dijon was the entire game. Get me the basketball. Get me the basketball. And you have to love that from a senior. For the Huskies, we got a good offensive unit, especially this guy, Jamal Williams on the floor.
Well, he had 21 against USC. He's been quiet. Goes in, pushes that lead back to 10. Morrison had the 3, turned it down. Farmar will make the 3 from the right corner.
Timeout call by Ben Howland. Going to get Matt McKinney in the game, get Ryan Hollins in the game.
Timeout on the floor. 14:06 to play. Washington's Williams strong inside over the 7-footer Michael Fay. The block by Hollins.
Yeah, nice job, Ryan Hollins inside. But UCLA's had to make an adjustment. Matt McKinney on the floor now. He's going to
bad pass by Farmar. And Robinson is fouled.
Now, once again, Brian Morrison commits a foul. Now, that foul was not as bad as the foul he committed on Hakeem Rollins, but you've got Ryan Hollins, who just made a spectacular block. Running back in transition, Nate Robinson 5'7", Ryan Hollins 7 feet. Give Hollins a chance to make another block. Here's Ryan Hollins going to block that one. Brian Morrison bails out Nate Robinson before he gives Ryan Hollins, his big guy, a chance to make another good defensive play. I mean, you got to like his chances, don't you? Ryan Hollins is blocking Nate Robinson's shot, or if he fouls him, you're in no worse a position that you're in now. You put Nate Robinson at the free throw line.
And Hollins, coming off a confidence-building game against Washington State, played very well.
Yes, he
Bruins
did.
Win in Pullman. Farmar now has 5 turnovers by himself. He had a game early this year with 9 turnovers.
He was very turnover prone to start the season. He seemed to have gotten it under control. And it's not even so much the defensive pressure, just some bad passing decisions.
Joel Smith with the foul.
And maybe that becomes, the minutes that he has played. I mean, the passes, kind of lazy passes, not the good, crisp cross-court passes that he is so good at executing. And then you got a Nate Robinson hawking and hounding you. That's going to take some of the punch out of your legs, especially after you played long, hard minutes in the Pac-10 and had a couple of, overtime, double overtime games.
Matt McKinney getting his first minutes of the game, throws a good pass to Hollins, and Hollins brought it down to his waist, where it's ripped away by a guard. Farmar steals it back, but when he gave it to Morrison, Morrison traveled with the basketball.
Washington squandering opportunities to build on this 9-point lead in transition. Farmer's broken up about 2 or 3 of those potentially easy conversion opportunities. But you're right, and Ryan Hollins brought it down to the defense at last possession. He's got a size advantage inside. He's got to take advantage of that. Keep it high, jump in the cup.
But UCLA in the man defense. Morrison on Robinson.
Joel Smith, you got to keep an eye on him. He is kind of instant offense.
His game.
Yeah.
He is a complete player, sees the ball so well, recognized where the defensive weakness was, and just spun down that left side.
Had an opportunity to do his game when he was at Garfield High School, Brandon Roy, when he was just a sophomore, and you could just see the fluidity in that game. He is fluid as they come. And right here, nice spin off of contact, and then take it to the left hand, jump up and over, draw some contact. He's strong enough to finish. He's quick enough to get by you. That's a tough combination.
You talk about complete game. He had a career-high 30 against UCLA last year.
Remember, he was going to go, well, he wasn't going to go, but he applied for the NBA draft coming out of high school. Now, whether or not he was ready, that's all debatable. I don't think he was, but the fact that he thought he was tells you a lot about his confidence.
And he plays such a complete style. He's not a me guy. He's a very team-oriented guy. I mean, he only has 6 points, but he's made such a difference because 9 rebounds, 4 assists for Brandon Roy. He quietly is a star in the Pac-10 Conference.
No, he is a tremendous player. I think he is the best pro prospect. Everybody talks about the great athleticism of Nate Robinson. Well, they should, but Brandon Roy, in terms of the total package, to me, is the best pro prospect on this team.
Thompson misses. Roy with his 10th rebound. Washington has their biggest lead of 12.
So it's slipping away for UCLA.
It's 14 now.
They love playing Paul Simon here at Heckler Pavilion, and this game is sliding away for UCLA at this stage. He's still in the lane, no 3-second call.
Ship fouled by Jamal Williams. That's his 3rd.
And Josh Ship, nice job initiating contact. Jamal Williams has a strong case because he had great position. But here's Brandon Roy off the feed from Jensen inside, and UCLA's rotations inside just a little slow. Watch Josh Ship gonna elbows to the jaw, to the chin, to the chops. That's why Jamal Williams was upset. That could have very easily have been, and probably should have been, an offensive foul. But most of the time, the offensive player gets the benefit of the doubt.
And what shows you what a complete team that Washington has, they get 50 points from Williams and Simmons on Thursday. That pair has scored only 10 in this game, yet they lead by 13 points.
And Bobby Jones, and he has had his share, Bobby Jones, of 20-plus point games in his career here at Washington. He was the first guy that Lorenzo Romar recruited and signed once he became head coach, because of just his versatility. A defensive player, but has the potential to get hot from the outside.
Conroy missing the 3. Simmons high for the rebound over Michael Fay. Yes.
Too easily over Michael Fay. You saw the great athleticism on the part of Trey Simmons to get the rebound, but then Fay just kind of backed off, allowing the layup inside. It might be an offensive foul. Jamal Williams, limit.
His 4th personal foul.
He had to take one to the jaw from Josh Ship. Gets bowled over by Jordan Farmar. He's like, they're the freshmen. I'm the upperclassman. Rodney Dangerfield, can I get some respect around this piece?
Well, I thought the officials did a great job not giving him the technical foul after he reacted quite angrily after this. Washington has opened up a 14-point lead on UCLA. Jamal Williams picking up his 4th foul on this drive from Jordan Farmar.
Here we go. It looks like feet are set. Great position inside. Should have been an offensive foul on Jordan Farmar. Then Farmar kind of signals that the basket is good. And they do give UCLA the 2 points. And Lorenzo Romar astutely, the scorekeeper did put it on the scoreboard until Lorenzo Romar brought it to the attention of the official, but the basket did not go in, so they took a
points off the scoreboard.
So far, Marble have 2 shots and misses the first. UCLA, normally a pretty good foul shooting team, but they have made 6 of 9 in this game. 1 and 2 for Jordan, the freshman.
You can understand Lorenzo's trepidation at this point because he saw his team, as you mentioned, blow with a 14-point lead in the second half, 21 points in the first half to UCLA. So you're not going to take anything for granted out here.
Washington winning this game, points off turnovers and offensive rebounding. Roy stepped on that baseline, turns it over. A window of opportunity open for the Bruins.
And that's where that old force out call. I'm going to jump on that force out bandwagon. They took that out of basketball, college, and pro, but that would have been a situation if it were still an active rule to take a look at that. You don't have to call a foul. You don't have to give a guy a turnover.
Morrison floats it up, hits the iron. He tried to send it to Thompson.
Offensive rebounding.
Jensen with a tip in.
3 opportunities. You give a team 3 chances, more than likely they're going to score. Now here's where that road split lethargy kind of comes in for UCLA. 20-5 offensive rebounds. That's energy. That's hustle. That's its old cliche, but wanting it, wanting the game more. The Huskies want it.
A foul on Brandon Roy prior to the shot. Here's the way they're attacking the glass.
Jones on the miss, but Will Conroy, and he was the key on that play at 6'1", 6'2", just keeping the basketball alive away from the defensive rebounds of UCLA and allowing Mike Jensen a pretty easy tap in on that 3rd try.
Nate Robinson will come back in for the Huskies. As to the free throw line, Dejon Thompson, an 83% foul shooter.
And the Huskies send all 5 guys to the offensive glass at times, and Nate Robinson will do as an effective job as anybody hitting the offensive glass. At times you saw Will Conroy, the other point guard, attacking the offensive glass. Brandon Roy gets a break, but he did a nice job with his time on the floor. Good defense, made some nice plays offensively.
Thompson makes both. The lead is cut to 13. Dejon with 14 points. Ben Howland has kept his team in it. But Washington's has had a couple of runs in this game that have gotten away, and all of a sudden it's a 13-point Husky lead.
Nice job, Trey Simmons, just climbing the stair with the spectacular offensive rebound. And here's, once again, UCLA not able to corral the basketball in that last play. First Conroy, keep it alive. And then Jensen up and over Josh Shipp.
They were minus in rebounds 1 year ago. Basically same personnel. The only addition is Jamal Williams, who is a transfer from another school. They are plus 5.5, leading the Pac-10 conference. And again, only 1 player over 6'6" tall, and that's Mike Jensen. Tomorrow, get caught in the action as the world's greatest bass fishermen compete with the top amateurs in a weekly tour with over $7 million in prizes on the line. See who is the nation's top angler when FLW Outdoors premieres tomorrow at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific, only on FSN. Check local listings for the start time in your area. We had some cedar planked sockeye salmon last night. That was outstanding.
Cedar plank sockeye salmon, only in Seattle.
Good.
Hey, man, he's got some of the best fish in the world up here. And the bass is not bad either.
It's Mike Jensen, Nate Robinson, Will Conroy, Trey Simmons, and Bobby Jones on the floor for Washington. Bruins counter with Shipp, Fay, Thompson front line. Aflalo back in the game with Farmar backcourt.
UCLA, they need some stops. And in Washington, obviously, we're going to go inside. Jensen on Dejon Thompson. Yet another missed shot in the paint for the Huskies.
But they have outscored UCLA 26-6 off turnovers, and here they go again, forcing a turnover. Let's see if they convert.
And, people are going to fault Michael Fay, but that's a tough pass for a 7-footer to catch. Low in the painted area, battling inside for position.
Shipp fumbles. Somehow Bruins save it.
They need to settle down and run some offense. They're playing it's scattered for UCLA offensively right now. A lot of it has to do with the Husky defense.
Waller misses. Michael Fay back up and in.
Nice job on the offensive glass, Michael Fay, but even then he got it, brought it down, hesitated, put it back up.
Conroy, no, man, how many times can you get a layup that just hits off the front of the arm, side of the arm? But the fortunate thing for Lorenzo Romar, his team still has an 11-point lead.
And for UCLA, they can cut it into single digits, which is a huge psychological lift.
And Thompson does just that, cutting it to 9. Inside 9 to play.
I mean, this is, kind of like, this is that anchor leg of the relay. This is kind of what you saved it all for this. Now's the time to make your move, make your push. Walk them down if you can. And Lorenzo Romar, he is going to keep coaching him. He's going to get into his team. He does not want to let down like they suffered at Pauley Pavilion. Nice job to John Thompson. Little spin off of contact. Use the offhand. He does a great job using the left hand. And even a better job on the interior pass from Michael Fay. But Lorenzo Romar, Cameron Dollard, he lit into that Husky team at Pauley Pavilion for a good 10 minutes after the game.
Well, Marcus NASCAR on Fox returns with the 47th running of the Great American Race. 43 drivers will clash in the fastest, fiercest, most high-powered sporting event in the world. Our NASCAR coverage begins with the Daytona 500, February 20th in high definition only on Fox. UCLA with a 6-0 run to get back in this game here at Edmondson Arena. Lorenzo Romar is not only building for the right now, but the last 6 Husky head coaches, look at those guys. There's some good names there with Tex Winter, one of the top guys that I saw at Kansas State, and then Marv Harshman, Bob Bender, 93 through 02, Russo and Nance as well. But what he has done away from the floor, recruiting, getting guys like Martell Webster, one of the best players in the nation, who's from Seattle. Joe Wolfinger, who's coming in next year, a 7-footer. Went from 10 wins to 19 NCAA tournament, 18 already, 2 shy of that magic 20. They're also bringing in John Brockman. So, terrific player, 6'7", Justin Dentman, Arden Wallace, Harvey Perry, Robert Saleh. And he's recruiting, I guess, Spencer Haas, Steve Haas' son, is quite a player here in the area.
Well, it appalls me that his name is not mentioned when people talk about Coach of the Year in the Pac-10. Seldom do they mention Lorenzo Romar, like he recruits the great players and just rolls the basketballs out there, but he puts the right guys in the right positions to be successful on the floor.
Arizona's got some good high school basketball. Marcus Williams is going to go to Arizona. 48 points last night. Seattle's a hotbed for high school hoops.
Martell Webster with 46 points last night. Saw John Brockman shooting on the floor, the Husky recruit. And he's about 6'8", 6'9", 245, with just chiseled, solid block and knocking down threes out here earlier, just kind of stroking it.
So you think he'll get time as a freshman next year?
Oh, yeah. I think so, yeah.
They've got some seniors leaving. Opportunities. Clay gobbles it up.
And speaking of opportunities, a 3-on-1 situation if the Bruins could recognize and exploit it.
Ship for 3.
Yep, and this is a time when you get a little tight. You look up at the scoreboard, you had the double-digit lead, and all of a sudden it's cut down to 6. So those jumpers, a little bit tougher to knock down. Hesitation a little bit on those power drives to the basket. Yeah.
Morrison has Thompson right. He pulls up, is foul, and he will be at the free throw line for 2 shots.
And Brian Morrison does a nice job on the pull-up, but for UCLA, it's important for them to keep getting good shots, and for the Huskies to keep attacking the offensive glass, get some good stuff like on this possession. For UCLA, they need Michael Fay to play big and tough inside, and they would love to have Josh Shipp provide a little yakka from deep.
UCLA with a 9-0 run over the last 3 minutes to cut a 15-point Washington lead down to 6, 62-56. At the free throw line, Brian Morrison can make it a 4-point game. He has 2 shots coming after the foul.
And you always hear people talk about how missed free throws cause you to lose games, and I know that's
true, but I also believe that there are other factors, the missed layups, the missed shots in the paint from Washington. It's the reason why this game is just a 4-point game at this point. Free throws ain't got nothing to do with it. Those squandered opportunities, they come back to haunt you also.
Robinson denied by Farmar. Loops it over to Trey Simmons. That's his specialty. He has been quiet much of the night, but now it's Washington back up by 7.
Nice offense by Washington, and that's good coaching. Come out of your timeout with a well-designed play to get an open shot for your best long-range shooter.
Brandon Roy with 9 points and 11 rebounds. Well, he hits it dead solid perfect and then misses the whole thing.
Yeah, but that last time out of the timeout, you're going to see a little flare screen here. Trey Simmons springs him free in the corner, and he loves that play. Going that direction to his right shoulder, a little 1-2 step into it and knock it down. Again, that's a play designed out of the timeout by Lorenzo Romar.
Yes, Brian Morrison came in and tried to set a screen and really didn't get set. He just kind of ran into his defender.
And you know, you can't fault his effort. I mean, he's out there. It's not like he's not trying to win. He's trying to get out there and do stuff to help his team. But at times, you know, he just goes a little bit overboard. He's a reel that emotion and that energy in.
So he must sit with 4 fouls at the 6.5-minute mark.
Now, he more than anybody would love to beat the Huskies in his hometown, Seattle, where he played his high school basketball. He grew up. And sometimes that translates into making some mental mistakes that do more harm than good.
Lorenzo Mata in the game. He's defending Jamal Williams. Williams playing with 4 fouls.
That's who I would go to. That, you know, if you get an opportunity. Jamal Williams down on the post, kind of a guarantee too.
Bad pass by Mata, stolen by Simmons. Over and back though.
Well, see, now I don't know about this call, and I'll tell you why. Because the way the rule reads now, you've got to have the ball and your body. Trey Simmons, okay, I see that I agree with it now, because he actually came down with the basketball in the front court and then stepped into the back court for the over and back. I thought he straddled the line once he secured the basketball, but his entire body was in the front court when he had possession of the ball.
Farmar misses, but Thompson does not. 6 minutes to go. Washington by 5.
This is anybody's ball game right here. I mean, again, the Huskies are getting Jamal Williams is a guy against Michael Fay. Good defensive maneuver by Ben Howland. But he's a guy that's usually pretty good at scoring inside.
A double-double for Brandon Roy. 11 points, 11 rebounds.
He's not a bad guy either. Brandon Roy just doing it all on individual effort.
Thompson. Long. Roy collects his 12th rebound of the game. Ties a career best. Simmons, no, he just doesn't have it today. 11 of 19 shots, including 5 in that victory over USC. Ship. No on the 3, chasing it down. Simmons, he's got Robinson, but stolen by Farmar. Bad pass.
Once again, breaking up a transition.
Great move by Dejon Thompson. He knew that Roy didn't have his feet set, didn't have the ability to, so instead of going up with the jumper, he slid right past him left shoulder.
And Lorenzo Romar, he wants to slow it down and wants some good offense, and that usually means Brandon Roy, especially here in the second half, where again, I like Jamal Williams matched up against Michael Fay.
Dejon Thompson now with 20 points on the afternoon.
Senior, we talked about him and giving him the stability here in transition. Josh Shipp, head up. Dejon filling the wing, finishes off the play.
Washington State wins over USC 61-53. The Cougars shot 55% after shooting only 40% against the Bruins on Thursday.
And that is not their forte. I mean, they're not known to be a team that a great shooting team percentage-wise, and gives you an indication of probably maybe a little lack of effort for the second game in a row from the Trojans.
Brandon Roy, 12 and 12 to go with 4 assists and a steal. He's got 13 points now. Farmar leaking out. Pinned by Roy. It's a clean block.
I mean, a well-designed play by UCLA. Get it and go. But an even better athletic save by Mr. Brandon Roy. Garfield High School, Seattle, Washington. The 206.
How you do, Jordan Farmer?
He's my MVP of this game so far.
And
Jones hits the three, and Washington back up by 10. That's how huge the swing was. A 5-point swing. And Farmer looking at 2, blocked by Roy. The result, a Washington 3.
And Bobby Jones might be the MVP runner-up for Washington, but man, what a play by Brandon Roy. Pin it on the backboard. Get down, young fella. Timing, gets his feet set. Wasn't a whole lot of contact. And that's just a spectacular defensive play. And then Bobby Jones, Mr. Reliable. You know, when he's got the jump shot working, it changes the whole dynamic of his game. He's always going to bring the tough D. But tonight he's given him terrific offense, especially from the outside.
Jones hitting his second three-pointer. Again, 12 for the season after just 1 last year. You know, the one thing that I really like about UCLA, there is a toughness with this year's team that we did not see last year. And Ben Howland's so poised, he never seems to get that upset. Our game reset, UCLA now out of timeouts. If there's a help ball, the Bruins will get it. 10 down, 4:08 to play.
I mean, if the Bruins are able to put together a nice run here, that stat there that we saw, that graphic with no timeouts, could be huge down the stretch. But that's a big if. The momentum, everything else clearly going in Washington's way. And the Huskies can taste it. You can see the defensive intensity really crank up, and we'll see you, Mr. Jamal Williams. You are out of.
5th foul on Jamal Williams. His afternoon over. 4 points after his 21-point effort in their victory over USC on Thursday. Play of the game, defense. Brandon Roy.
Brandon Roy, nice job tracking down Jordan Farmer. Stick it on the backboard. Get it out of here, young fella.
The Washington Huskies with a 10-point lead over UCLA. 3:49 left, 72-62. Steve Physiak, Marcus Johnson with you. Brandon Roy, what a game. 13 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1 block. Those of you in the Southwest will be leaving for your next live event. The rest of you will be staying for the conclusion of this game with Washington and UCLA. John Thompson has done his part to keep UCLA in this game, now at 21 points. Coming in, Ryan Hollins for Michael Fay. .22 for Thompson. The lead is 8.
Ryan Hollins, a lot more active shot blocker inside. And he's the kind of guy that even if he doesn't block the shot, he can force you to miss with his length. The Bruins have got to secure the defensive rebound. The Huskies have just shown. There he is, Mr. Smoothie.
15 points for Brandon Roy.
Spin off of contact, great back to the basket move, and that's why I keep saying he's the best pro prospect. Nate Robinson gets all the hype.
The 6th turnover by Farmer. Roy. And Brandon Roy will wind up at the free throw line for 2 shots after the foul by Jordan Farmer.
Brandon Roy, Lorenzo Romar, nice job. Just ISO Brandon Roy. And what happened, Josh Shipp is trying to force him out on the floor. Brandon Roy just spins off that contact baseline, and the momentum of Josh Shipp carries him away from the basket while Brandon Roy is going to the hoop, thus the uncontested layup. But 5 assists to go along with those points and rebounds is just an outstanding all-around game.
16 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. He might have a triple-double if some of his teammates had finished off shots in the lane on passes from Brandon.
Yeah, I saw him in practice. He was imitating Julius Hodge before they played North Carolina State. So he had the green light, the dribble moves, the athleticism, the deep jumpers. I mean, I looked at him, I was like, this guy here, he's a lot better than, I already knew he was a great player, but he was a lot better than I even thought from watching him play and pretend to be Julius Hodge in practice.
UCLA reversing the basketball well, and Robinson with a very ill-advised foul. Shipp had let it fly, and Robinson crashed into him because they were rotating on defense after UCLA moving the ball so well.
Yeah, but you want to not stop the clock and allow a guy to get to the free throw line and shoot 3 free throws. But we talked about Nick Robinson. He started off the season. He was the leading candidate for the John Wooden Award as college basketball's player of the year. But he's come back down to earth. He was shooting in the mid-50s from the three-point line. But there are other guys out there that I think, at this point in the season, if I had to vote today, I'd probably vote for Andrew Bogut of Utah. But Chris Paul's having a great year. Taylor Coppenrath from Vermont, you don't hear a lot about. But
nobody from Illinois.
Well, I was going to mention, the guy we talked about in our open. Everybody, Deron Williams gets a lot of the hype, but Luther Head, if you got to go with somebody from Illinois, you got to give Luther Head some consideration, don't you?
Yeah. We'll see North Carolina, the #2 team in the nation, tomorrow on FSN.
And Rashad McCants and Marvin Williams from the Bremerton area just outside of Seattle. They've got a bunch of guys that are playing well. Raymond Felton, Sean May, Scott's son.
And going to the free throw line, Brandon Roy, who's been leading Washington today in points, rebounds, and assists. Mr. Do Everything.
Garfield High School, and this team is just filled with Garfield High School alum. Will Conroy, Trey Simmons. You have another player, Anthony Washington, who transferred before the season started, but he was another Garfield High School guy. Quincy Jones went to Garfield High School. A lot of tradition, a lot of history at Garfield High School, and some great basketball talent.
Well, Roy has had help from his teammate Bobby Jones out of Long Beach Poly High School.
And before he transferred to Long Beach Poly, he went to Compton Dominguez High School, where he was a teammate of Tyson Chandler. So he knows a little bit about playing with some pretty good basketball players. Also, Tayshaun Prince, another player out of Compton Dominguez. But Bobby Jones has had a great offensive game. I talked about the gravy, the offense being the gravy. And what a flavorful gravy it is. Easy for me to say.
Well, quite a game for Mr. Jones. 17 points, says Washington trying to go to 19-3 in the conference. Arizona won their 19th earlier today, beating Stanford. And those of you in the Midwest will be leaving for your next live event. The rest of you, of course, will be staying in for the conclusion of this game with Washington and UCLA. Huskies by 11 with 2.5 minutes left. This, of course, a pivotal game for UCLA after losing 3 straight. The Bruins have bounced back to win 2 remarkable games over USC and Washington State, but down 11.
I know people may be watching saying, you guys are talking like this game is over based on the score, but it's not so much based on the score, based on that kind of stuff. Body language, the lack of energy right now that UCLA is showing, the lack of quality decisions with the basketball.
22 turnovers, not only 22, but 7 by your starting point guard.
You know, those double overtime games, 21-point deficits that you have to fight back from. Against USC, they were down with 18 points at halftime or so, had to come back and win that. I think, even freshmen going through that, and again, it's not so much physical to me, it's more mental, where it really absorbs a lot of your energy.
Meanwhile, UCLA has their next games at home against Arizona State in Arizona. The Arizona game will be on FSN. Farmar blocks Robinson, but then they have to go to Notre Dame. Very good Notre Dame Fighting Irish squad.
Yeah, and UCLA something like 36-37 in the RPI. Some in games like that Notre Dame game, they beat UConn or somebody. They've been playing UConn well recently, so that, to go back there, it's not a meaningless intersectional game by any stretch of the imagination.
Bruins do have 3 of their final 4 at home, while the Washington Huskies, they are next at Oregon. We'll do that game on FSN on Thursday, and Oregon State then at Washington State, but their final 4 are at home, so the Huskies looking strong. Final 4 at home against Arizona State, Arizona, Cal, and Stanford. This year again, we've got that Super Bowl party to come your way. We'll be in Jacksonville giving you everything you'll need for your Super Bowl Sunday party. In-depth interviews and analysis, plus performances from Kelly Clarkson and the Black Eyed Peas and more. It's the next best thing to being at the game. The Fox NFL Sunday Super Bowl 39 pregame show begins tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 Pacific, in high definition only on Fox. Then we get to see Corey Dillon goes against Javon Curse. Brady against Donovan McNabb. Brandon Roy back to the free throw line.
I'm surprised they didn't get it intentional. Brian Morrison just mauled Brandon. He was not going to allow himself to be the poster child for one of Brandon Roy's dunks.
Morrison fouls out. The freshman Aflalo will replace him. Morrison, who scored 19 points in the second half of their UCLA victory at Pauley Pavilion over Washington 1 month ago, held to just 6 throughout.
And after that 19-point explosion for Brian Morrison, like 31 points over the next 6 games. So for UCLA to go as far as they would like to, he has got to get back into the offense and start contributing double-digit numbers. He's so big because of his ability to stretch out a defense and take some of the pressure off the freshman and Dejon Thompson.
The MVP of the game, Brandon Roy, with an incredible show, 20 points, a career-high 13 rebounds. And he has stopped that UCLA run that had clipped it to 6 points and stretched the margin back out to 13 with 1.5 to play. And likely when the game ends, we'll have those 2 top teams right at the very top. 1 cat, 1 dog. Wildcats won today over Stanford. They are in first place by a half game over Washington at 9-2. Huskies at 8-2.
Just like everybody thought at the beginning of the year, Arizona, Washington, and everybody else. But you know, it's a dog fight with those everybody else's between Stanford, which is playing better basketball now, and this UCLA team. That those home losses to Stanford and Cal hurt in trying to secure 3rd place. Arizona State's playing better. Watch out for the Sun Devils and Rob Evans and Agdagu.
Thompson saves it. Chip gets it to Aflalo, then it's knocked out of bounds by Trey Simmons. You're right. How about Ike Diago scoring 39 points? They said he was angry, wanted the basketball, and he played so well, and they beat a very fine Stanford team, and they'll play California today.
Who you cannot look past. Just ask UCLA. Came down to Poly and just spanked the Bruins.
Jones comes up with a loose basketball, gives it off to Robinson. He'll just bring it out, run clock. Clock is the UCLA enemy right now.
And I don't know if you're Ben Holland, you want to foul in this situation. Just play it out. You know, they do foul in that situation. You're down 11, a minute left. Again, just the energy of this game. This is the Huskies game to win right here. But here's Brandon Roy giving him a nice boost on the spin. He's just been spinning for days. Up here just spinning like a top. And then pin it.
That was the play of the game. A 5-point swing at a crucial moment in the game. That would have cut it to 2.
Yeah, that was a terrific play. Bruins did a nice job sneaking Farmar behind the back line of the defenders, but Roy tracking him down and sticking it on the glass.
Those 13 rebounds, career high.
It's just so smooth. Is he sweating? Is that sweat right there? Is it trickling down his? Oh, there's a little bit of sweat.
Well, you know, he's had some of his best games against these Bruins. He had that 30-point effort against UCLA and 12 of the 18 shooting 2 years ago.
He's the kind of player John Wooden. I mean, a lot of coaches would love him, but just that keeps an even keel. Brandon Roy, he doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. And for Jordan Farmar, this is the one you want to forget. That's another. How many turnovers is that for Farmar? Because that's an offensive foul. 8. Still hasn't beaten his season high yet of 9.
You've got to like the effort by UCLA. They do not quit. Down by 13 points.
Well, it's been a good road trip. I mean, you know, you pull out a game against Washington State on a great shot by Dejon Thompson at the buzzer. And you compete here.
Robinson gets fouled, will be at the free throw line, so the Huskies will continue their school record by winning their 14th consecutive Pac-10 home game. Their last loss January 10th to UCLA. 20 in a row, and their school record's 25 straight, set in 1930-31 season.
Lorenzo Romar did a nice job. I mean, out of timeouts, ran the flare screen, got an open jump shot for Trey Simmons when the Bruins were threatening. Recognized the matchup advantage he had with Brandon Roy, getting him the basketball where he loved it on that right side, medium post area. Pressured Jordan Farmar 94 feet for most of the game, and you see the result in the 8 turnovers. Shows that you were able to wear him down. And then Brandon Roy, I mean, he gets a nice hand right there, and well deserved for his efforts today.
16 for Robinson. Ship slams it down. 23.7 seconds left. Washington will go to 19-3. And UCLA will fall to 12-7. More importantly, 6-5, tying Stanford for 3rd place in the Pac-10. But Washington will be back in a first-place tie with the Arizona Wildcats at 9-2. The Huskies off to their best start in 29 years, 19-3.
Yeah, a good win for Lorenzo Romar's team, and you talked about it. Brandon Roy, great job, all-around game. Bobby Jones also got it started in the first half.
That's it from Seattle. Final score, Huskies 82, Bruins 70. Make sure to tune in Thursday as the Huskies take on Oregon. Coverage begins 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. For Marcus Johnson, I'm Steve Physiak saying so long, everyone. Thanks for watching exclusive coverage of Pac-10 Hoops on FSN.